These are state-of-the-art vehicles with the most up-to-date technology that police need in their operational capability in counter-terrorism events and other operational matters.
New South Wales Police has expanded its tactical fleet with 5 new Bearcat armoured vehicles designed for high-risk operations, counter-terrorism and riot control. Costing $3.5 million, the 9-tonne armoured vehicles, built on a Ford F550 chassis, provide ballistic protection and advanced communication systems. For the first time in Australia, one Bearcat includes an extendable ramp to access multi-storey buildings and aircraft stationed in Sydney for rapid response. The remaining 4 vehicles will be strategically deployed in regional New South Wales, reducing response times to critical incidents.
So we deploy them in support of the Tactical Operations Unit to sieges, barricaded persons, armed and dangerous offenders, up to and including counter-terrorism incidents.
Same as the UK for decades, have actually stolen everyone's homes and properties in Australia. And the problem I have and we have is that Australians just don't know it yet. Now, lots of people in the media and lots of people in law are starting to expose this, and they did it in a couple of very sneaky and, again, deceptive ways. And of course, because under the law, ignorance of the law is no excuse, there's nothing the everyday person can do. So the first thing they did is they recently changed all of the paper title deeds, the parchment paper title deeds owned by homeowners. And this is 100% of Australians, rich and poor, 100%. What they did is they instructed banks and solicitors to take a big stamp that says destroyed, no longer legal, and stamp out all of those paper parchment title deeds. So never mind the property itself, in a safe at your bank or solicitors was your parchment paper, in itself a valuable document, right? Because then you've got the same rights on the land that the Crown had. It's sort of a continued title through everyone that's owned it. You have the same rights and privileges on your land, the freehold land, as the Crown had when they sold it to you. So this Albanese Labor government have cancelled all those parchment paper title deeds. They then sold the Title Deeds and Lands Office to an Australian super fund, again, corporations and big business. And now what we found out is that they've changed the language. Even on the digital titles, they're sort of allotting people who've already owned their home, they've paid off their home. They're giving you these digital lot numbers in Australia with your name next to it, except they've changed the language, Jim. And this is the biggest heist, the theft of other people's property I've ever seen. They've changed the language from in fee simple, no one would know, means freehold. And they've changed it to leasehold. So you now own your property only by leasehold. You own it with the government. It's so they can mandate things like smart meters because, you know, you're just a leaseholder. It's so they can do things like put native title liens on properties, despite the fact Australians in a federal referendum voted no against the Voice to Parliament referendum, which was all this native title stuff. The government's just going ahead with it anyway, this time state to state. And so on paper, Australians have had their homes and land stolen from them. And most of them still don't know because they've got them tied up with reality television stars, what's happening at the footy and all of the riots going on in the UK. And they've been robbed, Jim. They've been robbed blind right under their noses. It's absolutely revolting.
This is unbelievable. I'm taking some notes here. This is incredible. We're talking about the theft of people's properties, land that they own outright, and they're doing this so that they basically can have power over those properties to put in things like smart meters, and effectively, they no longer really own properties and land. Is that right?
It goes so far that it can prevent a person from leaving that land or home to their children. That's what they've done.
Wow.
So, you've all heard of the Great Taking, right? Well, this is extraordinary. I mean, we thought in Australia, particularly here in Victoria, because we'd had the world's greatest lockdown. Well, it wasn't great, but it was very, very long, that we'd suffered enough, that we'd really been through it. And like everywhere else, we're going through these vaccine adverse reactions, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. Everyone I know that's vaccinated more than 3 times has turbo cancer and heart problems, even if they're 20 years old. And now we see that while all that's going on, it's almost like the great illusionists, of old from the 18th century. They have you looking over here at this pandemic, which we now know, thanks to the Senate hearings in America, was man-made. While over here, they're making all these changes financially and destroying people's lives.
Poor old Daniel Andrews, the former Premier of Victoria, the one that locked down Victoria more days than anyone else in the world. I'm here in a town in northern Victoria, Australia, called Bundalong, where Daniel Andrews purchased a block of land. He had a builder to come out to look at the land to build his house. As soon as the builder saw him, he was like, "You can piss off, I'm not building for you." And on top of that, I'm telling every builder, plumber, plasterer, bricklayer, everyone involved in the building trade within 200 kilometres from this town, that this is your block of land and not to touch you. Been speaking to the residents of the town. Daniel Andrews and his mates, he's still got mates, that's surprising, went down to the local hotel. He paid for his meal and all of his mates. As soon as the owner found out, he was refunded his money, told to leave the actual premises, and the people inside were saying you may as well leave the whole town as well. So people don't forget. So fuck you, Dan Andrews. You think you can do this to the people of Victoria and then they'll just forgive and forget? Bullshit, mate. Have fun with Uber Eats.